This is Hidden Daughter, and I'm back for another powerful, informative teaching on the spiritual realm. There are moments in life when you pray, you fast, you believe, and yet nothing seems to change. You start wondering whether God heard you, whether something is wrong with you, or whether heaven is silent. But the truth is, many of the battles you feel and the delays you face are not happening on earth, they are happening in the spiritual realm. What you experience here is often the final result of a conflict that began long before you ever saw it. Today, we're going deeper into how the unseen world shapes the natural world. But before we go further, let's briefly revisit what we uncovered in part one. We learned that the spiritual realm is not symbolic or distant. It is the unseen dimension that shapes everything we encounter in the natural. Through the story of Elisha and his servant, we saw that just because you cannot see the spiritual realm doesn't mean it isn't active. Heaven's armies, demonic opposition, and divine movements are always present, whether our eyes are open to them or not. With that foundation in place, we can now look deeper into how the unseen realm influences what manifests in our daily lives. The spiritual realm is the source that shapes everything you see in the natural, the unseen foundation upon which every physical experience is built. Everything that appears in your life, every blessing, every attack, every cycle, every breakthrough begins there. This is why so many people feel stuck even when they're doing all the right things. They're fighting the visible symptoms while ignoring invisible roots. Scripture tells us in Ephesians 6 and 12 that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, meaning your battle is never just with people, circumstances, or situations. Scripture gives us a vivid example of this in Daniel chapter 10. Daniel prayed for understanding, and the moment he prayed, God answered. But Daniel didn't receive it for 21 days. From the natural perspective, it looked like nothing was happening. But in the spiritual realm, everything was happening. A demonic principality known as the Prince of Persia resisted the angel carrying Daniel's answer. That means the delay was spiritual, not personal. It wasn't Daniel's lack of faith. It wasn't God ignoring him. It wasn't denial. It was spiritual warfare. And the moment the archangel Michael arrived to assist, the breakthrough became unstoppable. What was settled in the spirit finally manifested in the natural. This story teaches us that spiritual movement often precedes physical manifestation. Answers can be on the way while battles rage in the unseen realm. Demonic resistance is real, angelic intervention is real, and persistence in prayer is necessary, not because God is slow, but because the battle is active. Some of the heaviness you feel, the discouragement you carry, or the resistance you face is not your imagination. It is spiritual pressure designed to make you quit before your breakthrough arrives. But when you stand firm, you partner with heaven against what is resisting you. The spiritual realm also influences repeated patterns, generational issues, and familiar struggles. These do not originate randomly. They flow from spiritual causes that must be confronted spiritually. Many believers attempt to change their lives without addressing the invisible chains behind their visible behaviors. Real transformation begins when you encounter what is happening behind the scenes. As you take in today's message, remember there is far more happening behind the scenes than your eyes can perceive. Stay anchored in truth, sensitive to God's voice, and aware of the movements happening beyond the natural. The next part of this series will expose what happens when spiritual battles are ignored and how unaddressed warfare shapes generations. Make sure you're connected because you don't want to miss what comes next in the hidden war room. Like, share, and leave a comment because your story can help the next person fighting an unseen battle.